in that sarin gas attack. Well, now on Labour's Executive Committee reviewing Ken Livingstone's comments, we can speak to Justin Cohen, who's the news editor at the Jewish newspaper. Hello to you. Thanks for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. Was it you that carried out that interview with him on the Tube yesterday?
It was, I'm afraid.
OK, what did you make of him?
Well, I think the whole experience was utterly bizarre. Just the fact that, on so many levels, the fact that I was having an interview with the former Mayor of London, someone who had just been in the media spotlight moments before on a packed tube train where tourists were bemused and other people were taking selfies. That was one strange thing, but what made it even more strange is the fact that Ken Livingstone was willing to stand there and have that conversation with me for so long, apparently totally unaware of the offence he's caused, unwilling to acknowledge that offence. And yet we stood there for 13 minutes, me pressing him on the point of Zionism and the Nazis, and there was no recognition whatsoever. OK, we've heard actually from Tom Watson. He says that Ken Livingstone is drunk on his own infamy, given that you spent 13 minutes chatting to him on the Tube. What do you think, Justin? I think that appeared to be a fair and accurate picture. The fact that he was repeating to me his offensive allegations, but also going further, when I put it to him that Jewish people were offended and assuring him that despite the fact that he's managed to bring forward 5 members of the Jewish community in support of him, the truth is that the vast majority of people are hugely offended by what he said. And when I pointed that out, all he could say was the Jewish community should look at his record while he was Mayor of London, when he claimed that anti-Semitism fell, whereas under Boris Johnson it rose. He
also said during your interview, Justin, which I saw on Twitter, that it had been a 35-word response rather than a detailed analysis, and if he'd been asked to do a detailed analysis, his view would have been, while the same, he would have been able to express why he felt the way that he did in much more detail. Does he have a point?
Well, you would think that any right-thinking person, if they're willing to acknowledge that that wasn't a proper analysis, that it was a tin pan approach to what is a rather serious moment in history, that the least he would do would be acknowledge that fact. He said to me at one point that he acknowledges that Hitler didn't support the creation of a Jewish state, and yet when I put it to him that Zionism is precisely that, a belief in the creation of a Jewish state in the ancient homeland, he said they're two different things.
He also said that he's never written about Hitler, and it's only ever mentioned by journalists, and he responds.
Yeah, I think that it's time for him to keep quiet about Hitler. I think it would have been nice if he had done that many months ago. But the fact is he has now done this, and Jeremy Corbyn has now said there will be a new investigation. The NEC will look into this again. And I think that needs to, this time, be brought to a proper conclusion. The thing is that the Labour Party have been not short on rhetoric, positive rhetoric, about tackling anti-Semitism, about zero tolerance. Everyone from Jeremy Corbyn to John McDonnell, who still hasn't commented on what happened yesterday, have been saying the right things for many months now. But when it comes to actual action, there seems to be a lack of it. We had it with the Oxford Union Labour Club, when members of the Unite Union came together to make sure that there wasn't action taken against people accused there. And now we've had it with Ken Livingstone. Well, there's going to be another chance for Labour to get this right. But frankly, many members of the Jewish community have given up on second chances.
OK. He did also say, Justin, again from your interview on the Tube, that he is, well, he didn't say he's a man of a certain age, but he's most certainly when he was growing up after the war, phrases like jumped up little Hitler and only doing my job were appropriate phraseology.
I mean, I don't see many people of his age going around incessantly mentioning the word Hitler and talking about the Holocaust. He's got a long history of talking about this kind of thing, calling a reporter from the Evening Standard at one point a concentration camp guard, a Jewish reporter. There is clearly an obsession here, and it's time it ended.
Final thought, Justin, before we let you go. His apology. I always call them a boyfriend apology. From him, it's a politician's apology, where he says, I'm sorry if you are upset. You did try and press him on that, didn't you? What did he say?
I did. I asked him that question about 5 or 6 times in the 12 minutes, and he pointedly refused to remove that word if And as you say, it's a politician's apology. The fact that Jeremy Corbyn has now acknowledged that there has been a lack of apology should tell him something.
Good to talk to you. Thanks for taking the time to join us. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Justin. Straight back to the UN. Egypt speaking just at the moment. Still waiting to hear from Russia. We've already heard from China and indeed the United